issue of costs and managing costs, or maybe managing flexibility with brokers. I mean, the idea of using a cloud broker. I think this is a subject close to your heart. But if you take the first swing at this, well, how should companies think about using cloud brokers?
Well, I think we're if we believe that there's a multi-cloud future, both in terms of private and public. So really, it's a hybrid environment. A lot of organizations are starting to have to deal with cloud sprawl. Tom even mentioned, the number of integrations that he's doing. He started with Amazon, now there's 17 or such, and so. Yeah, I think that's a very real issue. So, brokers can provide, and they do it in commercial real estate. They do it in, a variety of different industries. Can create that single pane of glass. They can create that environment where, I'm the throat you want to choke. If there's an issue, I can also leverage, brokerage, buying power, right? I can negotiate with a variety of different vendors and collectively leverage that buying power for better deals, better discounts, and pass that pricing through. We can add value in areas that perhaps the individual vendor isn't doing. So cloud management services, antivirus, patching, you name it, OS support. We can also add support desk across clouds. And triage. There's the number of points of failure has only grown as you distribute this workload, in this virtualized fashion. And so, can you track and trace where your data is going? And so these are all things that become kind of, part and parcel to this, cloud brokerage platform. And then the other thing is the orchestration of a variety of services. So as people develop APIs, and you're integrating all of these APIs to be able to manage, what is a complex blueprint in as simple manner as possible. When things go down, I can tell you, there's never one reason, and they do go down. They do fail. And so being able to triage that, whether it's in the network, with the provider, or in the software, becomes paramount.
Rob, I know that Six Vision is not a broker, but for some reason I think that Six Vision has some dealings with brokers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you advise people to use? Is that a good way about managing costs and their flexibility? What's your take on brokers?
Yeah, so I mean, I honestly think brokers are going to play an increasing role in the cloud and public cloud business going forward for a lot of the reasons that that we just talked about. But they can really be summed down into market power. And individual cloud buyers today have very little market power compared to the vendors themselves, right? I refer to that as asymmetrical market information. So the brokers are a way of aggregating demand for smaller firms and creating more market power. They also provide a mechanism by which to hedge risk. So you can sort of take advantage of things like reserved instance pricing, but without having to pay to make the full commitment of reserved instances. So they give firms the ability to hedge their risk on their spend in a way that doesn't exist when you just go and sign up with a particular vendor. And that's going to help. I think that managing of risk is going to help unlock additional cloud business for vendors. Even though I think that maybe the vendors a little bit look at the brokers as potentially taking some margin, I think they lower the cost of business acquisition for the vendors and help buyers manage risk. So I think there's a lot of upside to where the brokers are there. We're also seeing brokers starting to aggregate contract terms. So when you think about negotiating with 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 cloud vendors, the contracting process is long and painful to get through that. And I think brokers can play a role there to act as sort of standardizing forces, to start the standard SLA terms, liability terms, those kinds of things. And again, that makes it easier for SMB and even mid-market to acquire those cloud services. So I don't see them as anything but upside, for the market in general.
Yeah.